Welcome back to ATL Day Ones. I am Tenitra. That is Jarvis. And we appreciate you guys for being our fan base, our supporters. It's nothing like you guys. You leave us great comments, you leave us 5-star reviews wherever you download your podcast. And now we just know that you are going to start watching us now that you can on Amazon Fire and Roku. In fact, you know what? I'm kind of interested to see how it looks on the bright lights myself. So under the bright lights. So I'm going to go check us out on Roku after this show. But you can also continue to watch us on YouTube if that's what works for you, because we're near 4,000 subscribers for this entire Locked On Sports Atlanta network. So just keep supporting us and just know that we appreciate everything that you do. And you know what else we appreciate? We appreciate the effort that Georgia has put forth so far this season. It's been absolutely bonkers what they've been able to do through 3 weeks this season. And so, Jarvis, whenever you got good on good, so to speak, when you look at 2021 versus 2022, you cannot help but make comparisons, right? And that's what everybody's kind of pondering at this point in this early part of the season on whether or not the Dogs of 2022 are better than the Dogs of 2021. But I think that there may be some nuances to that question as well. I don't think it's as cut and dry as a yes or no to that question. So I would say, Jarvis, it's not just, and of course, feel free to answer this question. And you guys feel free to comment in the chat as well. And we'll bring it back to our audience tomorrow to let them know what your feedback is. But the question, guys, is this. You're looking at 2021, you're looking at 2022. Which team is actually better, last year's or this year's? Or when you dig down deeper, who's better, who's worse, and maybe components are better or worse? What do you think?
You know what? The first thing that comes to my mind is I think about how great that defense was last year, right? It was something that was something to see. Those are some of the things that I think that you have to take into consideration when you talk about the way the college football game is played in today's world. It's not necessarily about defense, and it's about offense. It's about, hey, how many points can you put up? How many ways can your offensive coordinator embarrass opposing defensive coordinators? I think that's the thing. That's the way to go, because that's how athletic directors hire, right? Presidents will come. They want to know, hey, how many points can you put up, or how many points have you put up in your past at your previous school when these offensive coordinators are going for these jobs? So I think that, that's the first thing that kind of jumps out to mind. But fast forward this year, the defense has played really well, and it's on pace to, do some things. But there are some chinks in the armor, so to speak, because you would like for them to sack the quarterback more. But it's just a matter of they're just better than everybody they played so far. But I have to talk about the offense. The offense, I think, from 2021 to 2022 is much better this year. And not necessarily because of who they have on the offense. It's because I feel like that Kirby Smart has taking the reins off of this offense, right? Or taking the gloves off for Todd Monken. Todd Monken has earned his trust. He's like, all right, I did it your way last year. Hey, let me open this bad boy up. We have a veteran quarterback, a guy who understands what I'm trying to do on offense, and he's going to be a guy that's going to be able to get the ball out quickly, because that's my plan. That's how I make sure he's safe. He stays safe with these different guys on the offensive line, and how they've been rotating and doing all of what they're doing up front. And while they figure that out up front, here's what I'm going to do, Coach. And I think that Kirby Smart is all in on that plan, and I think that that's why I believe that this team in 2022 has the potential to be better than the 2021 offense, simply because of what the type of talent that you have on your squad. Now you can kind of use that a little bit more, because hey, you always going to keep some good running backs, right? But there are some receivers in that room that you can get the ball to quickly, and those guys can make plays. My main man, Lad McConkey, he's been doing his absolute thing, because you have to be able to do your thing with a name like that, Lad McConkey. So, but yeah, to a long answer for, a short question. Yes, I think that this team potentially could be a little bit better than last year because of those reasons just laid out.
Yeah, I'll give 2021 the nod because they already have the chip. But that's only because they already have the chip.
Right.
Yeah,
Can't predict the future, right?
Yeah, it was a small sample size for 2022. but I love the word potential, and that's what I'm going to stick on this 2022 team. But to break it down a little bit more, I don't know if there's any area where you can actually call Georgia worse than last year, because I just don't
Yeah.
see that there's been that much of a drop off anywhere. But like you, I agree that we can definitely say that there's a marked improvement on the offensive side in terms of the aerial attack. And it
Right.
starts with, like you said, Todd Bunkin allowing Stetson Bennett to do some more things, kind of opening things up, but also a tight end room that is just undeniably better than it was
Ridiculous.
last year, to the
Goodness
point where
gracious.
you don't even miss the likes of a George Pickens, or you don't even think too much about the fact that RBU is not quite RBU as it was last year, getting close though. Same thing on defense. Like, that's a generational defense that we saw last year.
Yeah.
That was where the bulk of the 15 dogs that got drafted came from on the defensive side. However, by the end of the season, you never know what you might be saying, because two things come to mind for me. Jalen Carter is still better up front than anybody that got drafted last season, as long as
Right.
his body allows him to be as such. And I would venture to say by the end of this season, we will be saying that this secondary, as far as being guided and being grounded by Malachi Starks, you will not be able to, that secondary might at the end of the day end up showing itself statistically, because of Starks, to be the better secondary. Speaking of always getting better, we never have anything bad, worse, or ugly to say about it. That's Coffee AM.
Coffeeam.com/locked on is the website that you need to go to. I'm going to tell you why in just a second, because here's the thing. There are some things in life that you have to understand, that you need to delve into, you need to go to, you need to experience. And what I experience when I go through Coffee AM each and every morning is a taste of just going somewhere. It takes me a certain place, right? Because I have the rainforest crunch. Oh my goodness, it is so amazing. It hits me. That smell hits me, and then when I hear that the tinkling of the coffee going into my coffee cup, I was like, oh my God, I can't wait for to taste this bad boy. I almost said something that I had to pause after, but I didn't. I'm good. I'm proud of myself. But I think that all of those different type of coffees, like you have the rainforest crunch, you have the Kenya K cups, the Tanzania pea berry,
Mm,
all of those different types of flavors and everything that they have for you. It's the best small batch coffee roaster in the entire country. Now, here's the incentive to go to that website that I mentioned earlier. Go ahead and drop in the coupon code box. Locked on, you're going to get 15% off all gift sets and teas and coffee. All of that. You're going to get off your first order, 15% off. Coffeeam.com/locked on. Drop in the coupon code box locked on, and you're going to get 15% off. Go ahead and pull up on the best small batch coffee roaster in the entire country.
yes, and when Jarvis talks about Coffee AM that way, it's almost like you can smell the coffee being brewed, and that's up in the North area, North Atlanta, North Georgia. So it's almost like you can get it all the way here on the south side or the east side. That's actually a good aroma. Not so much a good aroma coming from Midtown right about now,
Over there in the
because what
flats.
Georgia Tech is doing over there, whoo, man, not a good look at all. We talk about Georgia being absolutely amazing and arguably even better at the end of the day than they were last year. Georgia Tech, however, it almost feels like in moments, Jarvis, that they have actually regressed. And we're at a point right now where there's growing sentiment that Geoff Collins' days are indeed numbered at Georgia Tech. So you look at it and you say, what, if anything, can even be done at this point for Collins to save his job?
Nothing. Because when you think about how he's structured this program, I can't say built, because it's not really like you don't have anything. Like
Yeah.
the product has been very bad, these past 3+ years. So and I think how he structured his program, you went through the whole marketing campaign for the
Hmm.
Fold
Hmm.
Four, and then the
Right.
Waffle House cups, and
Hmm.
you got a lot of people excited
Right.
initially, and you literally sold people
Hmm.
on what you were going to do for this team. Now, and in the beginning, that started to work for you because you had that grace as far as the product on the field, and then you're
Hmm.
going to take some time to transition out of the whole Paul Johnson era, and you kind
Right.
of joked that, right?
Sure.
Like, hey, it's gonna take some time, to get,
Yeah. Get away
to
from
be
the
able to run a
Jabbar
real
thing.
offense.
Yeah.
You know what I'm
Right.
saying? Yeah, the middle school offense or whatever you want, whatever, however you refer to it as.
Hmm.
So I think that when you have all of those determining factors, and it doesn't come to fruition, like there are reasons to say, hey, there's nothing you can do, and hey, you just buying time at this point. But
Mm-hmm.
I think that, when you talk about, and that was kind of, doing some research, I was just looking at like some of his record. Like he's only won 10 games in
Yes.
3+ years.
Yes.
And 2 of those wins against FCS schools, T.
Yeah.
Like, so, then you losing to Northern Illinois, you losing to
Mm-hmm.
the Citadel. Like,
Yeah.
it's just has been an embarrassment. And
Yeah.
like from alumni to former players, everybody
Mm-hmm.
feels the same way. So I think that there's nothing you can do. And I think that it's not a matter of if Geoff Collins gets fired, it's a matter of when he gets fired.
It is definitely a matter of when he gets fired. And for whoever comes in, whether that is an established name like we've been hearing in the news and kind of rumblings of them considering Deion Sanders, or would Urban Meyer come, or
Mm,
would John Gruden come. So whether they try to go after an established coach, or whether they go after a coordinator who's on the come up, like a Todd Monken, just as an example, like a coordinator who has had success and is having success at a big time program, and someone who will desperately need to cut into the juggernaut that's known as Georgia recruiting, like
right.
UGA recruiting, that's really what's going to determine whether or not this program is ever relevant again, or is relevant in the near future. So whoever gets that gig once Geoff Collins departs, that's going to be a tall order. But when you think about a tall order, it seemed like just 24 hours ago, the NBA, and for that matter, the WNBA, had a tall order for getting rid of something that doesn't smell so right in their ranks, but it looks like they may be on their way to getting back on the good foot. We'll talk about that in For the Culture.